how did you? Who actually first put you on a bike? And I don't mean your rally chopper or whatever when you was a kid. Who actually put you on a road bike and?
Yeah, I've always, like, from the age of, I don't know, even being like a youngster, I was always fascinated by bikes. And then I was about 11 when I first got into like cycling, really. But I was also getting into a lot of trouble at that time. I wasn't the best at school, and I started hanging around with like the wrong people. And
I met two of them on Saturday. there was two guys from Colville at the NEC show.
Oh, really?
Today, and said you hang out with you as a lot.
Oh, okay, I'm not sure if that was a good one. But yeah, I was just getting into a lot of trouble, and it was my granddad. He just said, "Look, Matt, you've got all this energy. You need to channel it into something." And he took me to the cycle touring club. He used to know this guy at the pit that was in the touring club, and yeah, he just took me along. I literally went out, did like 50 miles of riding, and I was just addicted to it. Like I kept up like straight away. It was like instant. So, and it just kind of escalated from there. Initially, I had like 2 years with the cycle touring club, like most people. Just went out, rode my bike, and then I started like giving all the old boys a really hard time. They're like, "Look, you need to."
Oh, it got that well.
Yeah, especially in the cycle touring club, you never cross the line. But they just kind of told me, "Look, you need to go out off racing," and like most people, went out. Rode a 10-mile TT, and I did like 24 minutes. Everyone's, "What? This is like your first one just on like a normal road bike?" I didn't know what that meant. And it's like, this is like amazing. Yeah, it was. Like most people, most of them when they start, they were trying to break like 30 minutes. And I just started doing that, crit racing. Then I was like, I started winning like divisional championships. And then before I knew it, I was at the stage that I was getting like selection for like Great Britain, and most people are obviously going to know me for like the time trial in Escalades that I've had, but the majority of it did actually start on like the road, like just doing road races, winning. I've won some big road races. I was on the verge. I got on the world class performance program, got lottery funding, the first year that ever came into like the UK. But I just kind of realised that I was never going to make it to like that next level. Also met Kate at the same time, which was a good thing. And when I was on the performance program, it was a good one. But I actually met Kate. I was part of world class performance, and I got overtraining syndrome, and I just went out on this big bender for about 6 months, and I met you, and the rest is history, I guess.
It'd been 99?
It'd have been 99, yeah, and then it was 2000. And then I just started to realise that I just wanted to be something, like I wanted to be national champion. I've been junior national champion, but I just wanted to just have something that I could home in on. Like, my goal has always been, whatever I do, I want to be the best at it. And I realised that there's just so many different parameters, like with road racing, isn't there, I was always going to be decent, but I wasn't going to win like consistency. With time trialing, it was just kind of like addictive to me. Like, you just had so many controllables with it. I loved like all the science, the art, all these little things that you could implement. And then it took me years to be like national champ, but I finally did it, I guess.
A few times.
But it wasn't, I was very fortunate. It was 2010 that it was when I signed for Giant. I'm not just saying it that, because everybody's here today, is that it was when I signed for like Giant, I just couldn't believe like the difference. Like, my performances went from like here to here, and it was just at the right time. Like when you guys picked me up, that I'd found a new coach. I'd started working with Simon Smart, who'd actually designed the Trinity, and it just all aligned really. And then, my initial approach was, yes, I wanted to be this champion, but I wanted to do it for the people that were surrounding me, because ultimately they were giving me they gave me the belief, And
were you working full time when you were going through all of this?
Yeah, I've always worked full time. Like, I had 2 years out when I, was part of world class performance, where I got like lottery funding, but the rest of it I always did it. as a full-time athlete. And that's what surprises me now. Like you hear like, we deal with like all these youngsters like all the time, and they think that you just got to be full-time to ride the bike. They don't realise that, what I achieved was trying to be like a full-time athlete.
Yeah, I mean, you've always been very focused on the numbers and very focused on how you train, and you've always worked that training, set number of hours around what you're doing for work, haven't you?
Yeah, so it was the fact that I could, it's really good when I set up the coaching business. I had 8 hours training a week. Like we had 3 kids at the time.
Kate, national champ on 8 hours riding.
Yeah, and to the point that I was, but it was brutal, like the training. I remember we just had the twins, and I remember there was loads of people. Local people and nationally were going, oh, Botty's done now, we're going to beat him. And it was in like 2013, the year that we'd had the twins, that I was second in like the national, the British national championships. Probably my proudest moment that was. I beat like a lot of like Team Sky pros, like you've never seen it.
Name some names.
Like there was like Ben Swift, Luke Rowe, one of the other guys that signed for, he's retired now, won Paris-Roubaix, big Stannard.
Yeah.
So they were some of the guys that I managed to beat like that day. It's probably like, and I lost the race by like 15 seconds to like Alex Dowsett.
And it's not a thing to be.
Yeah, it was just one of those moments when it just started to connect, like I was on a mission. And at that time, like realistically, I was a postman. It wasn't amazing pay. I needed to win bike races to ultimately take the family out. And nobody sees that now. Do you know what I mean? I get everybody come in the office and go, oh, you've done all right here. But they don't realise what it took to get to where you are.
You were racing for nappies, basically.
Yeah, I was. And just so we could go out at the weekend. But I guess I've always had that passion and love for doing what I do, and I always will do. And that's what excites me. It's like it's like now I still feel like I've got to race. I do love it, but I just love being so involved with the sport. I love going out Giant or Cadex bring out this new product, and I want to know how good this product is. And then that enhances like what we're trying to do like with our athletes.
You have retired and come back more times than status quo.
Yeah, it's kind of like obviously having conversations like with Claire, and she's going, you don't need to do anything now, you don't got anything to prove to anybody. But I don't know, it's like a drug. I'm just so addictive. There's nothing better than when you go in, like you're just bombing along on like that bike. And I need the training. It almost serves a purpose. It's almost like I need it for like my sanity. I don't know. It's like the freedom of doing a time trial, doing a triathlon. It's just like you've got like this. You're trying to beat the clock, aren't you? It's good.